want nothing on my neck. If y'all know, you know. When you get overstimulated, you don't be wanting nothing. You gotta get everything off your neck.
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really just know you.
Welcome back to another vlog. If you're new here, my name is Tatiana and I focus on wellness and just life in my 40s. And when I tell y'all this week was rough, this week was our first week with homeschool. So if you're new here, we just switched our second grader from a public school to a online virtual academy. And this was our first week with the online virtual academy. We really enjoyed it, but it was challenging, sort of like having these various calendar events. Like my son's classes are set up like calendar events. So everything, all the lessons are there. We have the matching textbooks for every single lesson. It's really easy to navigate, which I love. But have y'all ever in your lives been in Johnny had 8 apples mode for 6 hours a day while also doing your job? Because let me tell you something. It was a rough week. It was a rough week, but we got through it. Everybody had to navigate the changes and challenges of this new schedule. So this week we really kind of focused on getting it down and understanding how it would flow. So next week we're going to start adding in like 2 library visits per week so that he can grab books, and so can our little one, our 3-year-old as well, because we're also teaching her by way of the Keiki app. So I'm navigating that, you know, being a teacher now to my children is interesting. Now, I will say this, my son has homeroom with his school, so he does have time online with his teacher. So it's a few hours a day, which is really cool. Most of the work is independent, so we're doing most of the work with him. But it was a challenge this week. So with that said, we made plans this weekend. We wanted to do things to kind of like celebrate and have fun with the kids, do something to decompress as a family, because we were all operating at breakneck speed this week, and it was rough. The changes were rough for everybody. So we want to do something fun, hang out with the kids, get food, and especially because this weekend would technically be the Halloween weekend, since Halloween's next Friday and Saturday is essentially going to be Christmas time. You know how it goes. So we were like, okay, we got to do fun Halloween stuff this weekend, which is what we're going to do. So I really didn't know what I wanted to read this week. I was having some trouble. So of course I had to turn to my girl, Frida McFadden, because she always has a good popcorn thriller that you can get through quickly. So I read her new book, The Intruder. I was able to read it in 2 days. I would give it a 3.5 stars. It was cool. It was cool. The twist got me. I didn't guess the twist, which I love, because I don't like when I guess it, and I can guess them a lot of the times because I read so many thrillers, but I was not able to guess the twist, so that's a plus. But I got through it in 2 days. So when I finished, I was like, okay, I can get 2 books in this week. Also, when I went to log The Intruder by Frida McFadden, I realized, I'm doing a Goodreads challenge where you read 50 books in the year. So I only have 9 books left for 2025, and I will have read 50 books this year. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so I'm about 60% through Hidden Pictures by Jason Recollect. I hope I'm saying that right. But I've heard a lot of great things about this one. This one is also a thriller. So I'll be done with that pretty soon, and I need to pick my book for next week. But I'm so happy that I'm actually going to complete this challenge. The reading challenge is something that's like really important to me this year. It's something I've wanted for myself in addition to losing weight. So it's exciting to me when I can make those goals for myself and complete them. But with that said, also, so I bought this set from Fashion Nova earlier this year. And this is actually my first time even wearing the jacket. I tried to wear the complete set and it's too big for me. So I'm gonna get away with wearing the jacket today. And of course I have on my handy dandy brown hat. I know y'all sick of it. I'm sick of it too. But it fits the best over my wig. And I need a haircut really bad. And I need to like make an appointment to get a haircut. But my schedule just has been really breakneck. So this holiday season I have to do that because we need to take like family holiday pictures and all the things. So I need to get it in order, y'all, but I'd be so tired. you know, it'd be so much going on. And now with the homeschool, girl, at the end of the day, all I had was to take a shower and lay down. I didn't have nothing else. Like, I was operating beyond capacity all day. I was like, I'm gonna just read my book and go on to bed. That's all I had. Y'all, so it's officially Sunday morning. It's a new week and I am trying my very best to get back on track with my workouts and my fitness. I will say that I have stayed on track with eating, but my workouts have been a little bit off for the month of October, so I'm trying to get it back this week. So my goal is to do an hour on my walking pad every day. So today I did an hour and it was a little over 2 miles. I got about 5,000 steps in, which is perfect. I want to get to a point where I'm doing 10,000 steps a day. So maybe like I can get another hour in at the end of the day. I don't know. That might be biting off more than I can chew to make a plan right now. I'm just going to disappoint myself if I do that. If I can commit to 1 hour every day, we're going to start there. We're not going to bite off more than we can chew. We're going to start at 1 hour every day. So if I can get up like a little bit earlier, you know, an hour earlier than the family, get on my 5 a.m. routine, or I don't know, because my husband's like, you could also do it before bed. But I feel like that pushes back like my shower routine. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really tired at the end of the day, especially with my full-time job. Now, you know, Ezra's homeschooling, Zoe is homeschooling. I'm getting her prepared for pre-K. Also, you know, being a wife, you know, being a homemaker, it's too many jobs, it's too many things, and I'm already severely overwhelmed and trying to like move my schedule around to make more sense for me. So I really don't want to pile anything else on. So I'm going to start with the 1 hour. If I can do the 1 hour, lock in on that 1 hour, that would be great. I have my weights, I have my kettlebell, I have my resistance band. So, you know, I'm able to get it in at home early in the morning, but I'm trying to find a way, y'all. So yesterday we had a really cute family day. My husband and I made a pact. So what we're trying to do is try to find local businesses for things before we go to a lot of the larger stores, and, you know, try to have local experiences as well. Because something we're starting to realize is that we're driving past a lot of places that we had absolutely no idea were around. So we had been seeing those like viral pizza skulls. We've been seeing those for like 2 years. So come to find out, the pizza spot that makes them is not far away from us at all. So we decided to go there, and it's like a family-run pizza restaurant. I think the name is Bari. The pizza was good, the salad was good, the chicken was good. We got pizza, the skull, you know, pizza for the kids, salad, chicken. I think we paid like $80 with a tip, but everybody was sweet. The service was great, and it was just like a cute little family run restaurant. It felt really good to be there and support them and chat it up, you know, with them. It was very cool. And then we went to, so we were supposed to go to the pumpkin patch, but we've been to all the pumpkin patches around, so we were like, let's do something different. We've been wanting to go to this like STEM playground, play place that is local. And so I ended up talking to someone there, and turns out it is a small business. They kind of make it like a Chuck E. Cheese type of situation, but it's all based on STEM play. And so, you know, it's all science and technology, you know, all that sort of stuff. So that spot was created by like a team of designers who, you know, are contracted out to all of these big companies, but they wanted to do something on their own for children, so they came up with Dig It. And it's like a STEM play place. It was very cool. The kids have been wanting to go there, and we went. They had a really good time. We thought that they would get really worked up and tired, but girl, they still had energy after we left. Also, since Ezra has started homeschool, so he read a lot of the Dogman books. He saw the movie. He was so engulfed in that universe of Dogman. So last week we watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Now my older son, if you're new here, I have a 23-year-old son, and I remember taking him to see the like Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies back in the day. So we ended up watching one of the movies with my second grader, with my 7-year-old Ezra. He loved it. Found out that, you know, there are books, so he wanted to go buy books. So there wasn't like a local bookstore, but what we did do, we went to Book Off, which is a book reseller. So they kind of have like secondhand books, which was very cool, because we went there and they had like a little display of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, and they were $3 and signed by the author and everything. So I was trying to encourage him to get a few, because I'm like, you could get 3 or 4 of those for the price of what we would pay if we went and bought a new one. He said he wanted to read the first one and see how he felt, and then if he liked it, he wants to go back and grab them all. With all that said, we're just trying to be more mindful with where we spend our money. If we can find a small business, if we can find a local business, that's what we want to do. Now, I will say this, it's not a perfect process, because we did still have to buy the kids' costumes on Amazon. I honestly don't know of any local costume shops. I know like in the Valley, there are a lot of the costume shops that you can rent from and buy from. And, you know, a lot of the films and TV shows and stuff use those costume shops. They can be a little bit pricey too, but they're very cool. We didn't have time for that, so we did end up buying their costumes from Amazon. But we, you know, it's a work in progress. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. We are trying to be more mindful of where we spend our money, and mostly like also trying not to be wasteful. We don't want to buy things that we don't need. We really want to focus on what we need and the longevity of that. And if we need to start looking towards other things that, you know, have longer lifespans, that's just where we are mentally. And it's just interesting, because I feel like so much has changed this month in life in general as a whole. You know, whatever plans I had, like, oh, you know, I'm setting up to, you know, work out 5 days a week, and now, you know, we're homeschooling, and that changes the schedule. And it's okay. You know, it's okay. I'm working through it. I'm working through my feelings about it. And as a family, as a unit, we're constantly like, you know, revising and saying, okay, what's going to be best? What's going to make sense for everybody? But yeah, that's where we are right now. Just figuring out how to be more mindful with our spending, with our money, where we spend it, and really leaning into experiences. So today we're going to take the kids to a Halloween party. There are a few local breweries that have popped up in the last couple of years. 2 of them I actually follow on Instagram, and they have a lot of cool little events and stuff like that. So we are going to take the kids to the Halloween party. So before we get to this monster mash with the kids, y'all know I gotta give me some coffee. Now, one of the main reasons why I would pull up to a place like Starbucks was because of the convenience. Oftentimes I'd have the kids in the car. I just want to pull up in a drive-through. But now that I'm doing my like intentional date, you know, sitting down and having coffee. Today is Sunday, so I need to pick a new book for the week. And, you know, I want something thrillerish. I want something spooky. So I'm trying to decide the 2 books that I'm choosing from today while I'm in the cafe. I'm going to be reading a little bit of Local Woman Missing and Slewfoot. And I'm going to decide which one I want to read. And if I get through one of them quickly, then I'll probably read the other one for the rest of the week, because last week I was able to read my 2 books. I read The Intruder by Frida McFadden, and then I read Hidden Pictures. But yes, I got through 2 thrillers last week, which was really exciting. I'm like, I'm back on. So I'm gonna go into this coffee shop, get myself something to drink, try out these 2 books, and see which one I choose. And I'll be back. I almost didn't do my solo date this weekend just because we had such a busy weekend ahead, and with everything that happened this week with like homeschool and just being inundated with my work schedule, Ezra's work, Zoe's work, like everything was just too much, and I almost didn't take my solo date. And this morning I got up, I worked out, and I was like, man, I really need to squeeze that solo date in. Like, I need it more than ever this week. And I was about to talk myself out of it because I was like, well, we got to get the kids ready for the party, and everything's, you know, local. Like, everything's around, so it's not going to take me too long. I was like, this new place I found is not far. I have to do this. So I am glad now that I'm on the other side of it. I feel a lot less anxious. I'm glad I had that time to myself to sip some coffee and just sit down, read, decide what I'm going to read this week, take my time a little bit, because I genuinely was about to talk myself out of it, and I'm glad I didn't, because out of all the weeks, I needed that solo date this week. So while I was in there, I also made sure to look for the audiobooks of both books. So I got Local Woman Missing here, and I always do, this is how I get through a few books a week. I kind of go between reading on my Kindle and listening to the audiobook. Sometimes I listen while I'm working. You know, I'm listening while I'm doing things throughout the day, and it pushes me a little bit further along in my reading. It's really helpful. Okay, Mario's getting his mustache.
All right.
Mario getting his mustache. Look like one of the whispers. It looks cute.
Show your brother.
Let me see. Cakey.
Oh, wow.
Cakey looks so pretty. We had to pin this in the back. It's a little big. In Mommy's past life, she used to work it in wardrobe and on music videos and shoots and stuff like that. And we had to pin the back. So we're back in the car. We just left the event. They were doing like a pumpkin painting situation, but they sold out of pumpkins. They sent somebody to go find some more, but we were like, you know what? we're gonna just go buy some pumpkins or like some arts and crafts for the kids to do, you know, on our own when we get home. And so we're about to head into Michael's because it's the closest arts and crafts store that we can get to and see what they have. All right, so they done pulled the Halloween section to the front. So we're trying to see, we found something online, like this like pumpkin painting kit, and we're trying to see if we can find it.
Is that plate?
So that, yeah, you can, this is a canvas that you can paint, and then they have these masks that you can paint. They have these little ornaments that you can paint. All right, so they're gonna do the ornaments and the pumpkin canvases instead of an actual pumpkin, so that's what. All right, so we are back home. The kids are painting. They have their canvases. They got their paint. They have their ornaments that they're gonna paint from this little kit. And everybody's painting and happy. Alright y'all, I'm finally back. First things first, I had to take that wig and that hat off because you know how sometimes it just be squeezing your head. It was giving me a headache. In addition to that, I was just already overstimulated and there was just too many things touching me. I was like, there's too many things touching me. Let me just go ahead. I was able to get a little bun up here and we just went with that. We went with that. I was like, I don't want nothing on my neck. If y'all know, you know, when you get overstimulated, you don't be wanting nothing. You got to get everything off your neck. But we're back. So we got like some little paint kits from Michael's for the kids. I think in all we spent like $11. It was 50% off. All the Halloween stuff was 50% off. So we were able to get a few things. And they had some stuff left over that they're actually going to use on Halloween. But they had a good weekend. We did a lot. It was fun. One more thing I meant to tell y'all. At Book Off yesterday, we bought 2 books, a tote, and a pen for $13. So I'm all for thrifting secondhand books. It's the way to go. But so my hope now is I want to change, I want to chill, and I really want to watch some scary movies. So I am a horror movie girly down. I love horror movies. I always have. Growing up, my mom watched a lot of films, listened to a lot of music, introduced me to a lot of art. So I've always been a horror girly. And when I left California and moved to New York and would be missing my mom and just looking for like a cozy day, if it was a rainy day or something, I would put on a nice, you know, horror film or a thriller, get me a blanket, get some snacks, you know, get me some coffee to drink and just watch. And it would just make me feel cool. Like it would just make me feel warm and fuzzy and at home. There was this rental store called Videology and literally anything I searched for, they had it. This was in Brooklyn. And I would go once a week and just rent all these movies and it was just my favorite thing. But I'm a horror film girly, and something that I ended up learning a few years ago is that watching horror films helps with anxiety because watching some like tension build and be resolved outside of yourself still makes it feel like you resolved it within yourself, and it helps with anxiety. And I'm like, I didn't know that. I knew that I felt better after watching horror films, but I never knew that this was like evidence backed. But I've looked it up because I heard it on a podcast or something and I was like, let me look into that. And it's true. Watching tension be built and resolved outside of yourself helps with your own anxiety. So now I understand. I'm like, this is why I love a good horror or thriller. And I also like figuring things out. I like a good mystery. But my hope is that I'll be able to sit down and do that. I know that the new It show, I think it's Welcome to Derry, comes out, I think today on HBO Max. Or Max, or whatever it's called now. Y'all know all these companies, you know, they ain't got no money and they selling, and then they got to present with whichever name. I think it's Max now, child. I don't know. You know, the industry ain't got no money. And it's just, you know, everything got a new name after a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and close out the vlog. I wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.